Oh, yeah. All right. Don't worry. We're here. Don't worry. I got you. We are good to go. We're stumbling, fumbling, bumbling, but we are ready to rock and roll. How you doing? How you doing? I'm Hat and Beard. This is the Hat and Beard Show, Mad Hatter Nation. How you doing this? Well, it's Wednesday, which means it's Hump Day, March 25th. In the Big 2-6, we are rocking and we are rolling. Full disclosure, y'all. Not a lot of NFL news for me to really cover, but don't worry, we got something. We found something, and that is Tampa, Bay, Buccaneers. Linebacker Lavonte David announces retirement following 14 years and 1,700 tackles. We'll look at his career and what it meant. Not gonna lie, dude, I'm getting tired of reading. Reading quotes from John Litch over there in Litch, whatever, however you pronounce his name, the GM over there, owner, whatever you want to call him, whatever his role is. I don't follow Tampa, can you tell? But he's been all over with Mike Evans, with now Lavonte David, just all kinds of news. So we'll see. It's not that I don't have anything against Tampa. It's just over the last few years, I kind of been the belle of the ball has been my boys in blue, the Detroit Lions. Well, they're here for me and you. Speaking of the Detroit Lions, the Lions just did something that shows Kerby Joseph is still in their plans for the foreseeable future. Got a full disclosure, 2 A to Z articles here for us, guys. I like the slipper, Mike Payton. The Lions are showing they feel good about Joseph with their wallet. Now, this is from 5 days ago. But you gotta dig for some news. But we found it. I think it's an interesting little thought exercise. And there's a reason why I read Mike Payton. All right, there's a reason why I bring his stories to you guys. He puts good content out there. He makes some good points here. So we will discuss that. And then Big Brain Brad. Big Brain Brad was in the news. Lions GM Brad Holmes denies clashing with Motor City Dan Campbell. Detroit Lions GM Brad Holmes addresses the rumors that he philosophically clashed with Dan Campbell this offseason. And whether they did or did not, if you genuinely think that two individuals in these very, very high demand, very small market pool, very small pool of jobs to pick from, an even smaller talent pool. So it's very high, cutthroat. And, we know in today's NFL, one wrong season could cost you your job, right? Especially as a head coach. You're nuts if you think that they are not going to clash about certain things at certain times across the entire season. And if you do think that it's all just rainbows and lollipops, well, by George, I'm telling you, hot properties. I got all kinds of bridges across all kinds of states. We'll start right in New York, hot property. I got it on the low. I'm telling you, we got to strike before the market gets away from us. They're going to clash, though. I mean, it's going to happen. But Brad Holmes discusses what the rumor mill is trying to churn out about him and Dan Campbell. I do think that, especially last year, is a good example that there is a possibility of a narrative wedge to be driven between the two men there in control of the lines. We'll discuss that, and then, of course, we'll bookend it with Brad Holmes' article from A to Z Sports. Look at me go, dude. Brad Holmes may have just inadvertently spoiled what position the human living wall, the best offensive lineman. Give him his gold jacket already, the best offensive lineman in football. Penei Sewell will play, and who will start opposite him? The Lions have some really good flexibility with Penei Sewell, and they have some strong confidence in Larry Borom. Larry not moving the needle, Borom for me, but you know what? Again, Mike Payton gives us a good argument and shows good data to back it up. I'm not going to lie. That's why we're reading it. So that's why Penei's on the cover. You got to look a little closer to see what's going on. And if we get time, if we can get through these articles, boys and girls, shout out Microphone. Now, Full disclosure, I used to watch a lot more Microphone a few years ago. He's a little too car salesman-y for me now. Nothing's changed. I've just gotten older, and his shtick doesn't really fly so well with me anymore. However, got a nice little video here for us talking about how the NFL is about to get 100 times worse. Now, he made this video last year, and I was like, okay, Mike, I think you did this last year too. Clickbait-a-roo. And then I clicked on it, and I was like, well, how'd he do? My guy. Damn it, he did it again. Got me with a good one, and it's a good one. So we will try and get to that if we have time. Hopefully we can get through it. Mad Hatter Nation, how we doing, YouTube? Good to see you. Hey, Sleepy Exotics, dude, I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by for 2 days. That's awesome. Hello, how you doing? Good morning. How you doing, Mom? Good to see you hanging out. All good working teams clash now and then. Exactly, 100%. How you doing, Brandy? Good to see you on both ends over here on YouTube. Rick C., good morning, my guy. Y'all, just so you are aware, if you want to have a little bit more fun, shout out Rumble. All right, we got Rumble going on over there on Rumble. And I don't know if any of you guys are watching, but I do want to give a big thank you to the, 5 or 6 of you that were in the Before the Noise live show on Rumble. All right? I know this is going to sound really weird. I've become a huge Chad Prather fan over the past few weeks. I listen to Chad Prather Before the Noise every single morning, Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. That is my locked and loaded show, and I gotta give a big thank you to all the folks at Rumble that were in the live chat that came over and gave me a little support over here on Rumble. So the Rumble channel grew by about 6 new people this morning, and I think that's pretty awesome. Rumble's a good time, guys. So check out Rumble over there. Thank you, Brandy. Go ahead and drop it. Thank you so much, Brandy. I appreciate that. We're gonna go ahead and pin that comment right up there, guys. We got the link. We got the link to the Rumble stream right over there, guys. We're making headway. We're making some good headway over on Rumble. I'm not gonna lie, guys, based on all the metrics. So feel free to check us out over there. And I don't want to forget about you guys down there. I know you're kind of like the bastard or orphaned stepchild, the biological stepchild of Tucker Carlson. Kick, I see you down there. We're kicking away, growing as well, up to 7 followers. I mean, look, that's wild. I don't even know what I'm doing on Kick, but shout out Kick. That's awesome, guys. Mad Hatter Nation continues to grow. We expand our digital footprint. Mad Hatter Nation is, of course, a bastion of sanity in a sea of nonsense. You got to have bigger than a shoe size and higher than a room temperature IQ to be able to hang out with guys like me and you. We allow free speech here and open thought. Just don't be a dickhead. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that hard. We got All right, just so you are aware, we let Packers fans in over here. All right, now, pump the brakes. We don't just let in any Packers fans, but Packers fans. If you come right and you come with respect, generally you'll get respect. And if you come with a good argument, I have to acknowledge a good argument when I see a good argument. You know what I'm saying? So some of them Packers fans, we're open to you guys. You can come on over, hang out. Bears fans not welcome, though. Bears fans not. If you subscribe to the philosophy and the mentality of an individual like Small PP Benedict Arnold, Osama Ben Johnson, the trader in the Windy City, you can get on out of here and take some illegals with you. Self-deport from Mad Hatter Nation. I, of course, am Hat and Beard. You, of course, are an attentive audience, guys. Make sure to slap that like button. We hit a new high yesterday. We had 23 likes on the live show over on YouTube. A little bit lesser on Rumble, but we're kicking away. We're getting after it. But go ahead and slap that like button. Share this video around with every single person you've ever met. Go ahead and on Rumble or on YouTube, you can trick the clanker overlords. You can just copy that link down on your clipboard. Do it as we go article by article. It really boosts us in the algorithm, helps us grow and expand. What's up, Snake? How you doing, man? Good to see you, dude. Sorry, guys. I get hype when I see the new people. Feel free to say good morning. I don't mind. I try and engage with you guys as much as we can. Just so you guys are aware, though, over on YouTube, if you want to hang out and engage in the live chat, it does cost you. You're going to have to put a little bit of foreskin in the game, dude. You're going to have a little bit of investment. You're going to have to go and subscribe to the channel. But I do think that ROI is pretty well maxed out. You're going to get a significantly higher ROI, at least on the investment you put into Mad Hatter Nation here at the Hat and Beard Show, than you probably would even in an aggressive, booming stock market. So, just take that for what it's worth. Just a little disclaimer, though. I am going to ask that if any of you in Mad Hatter Nation are feeling like you're gonna up and fucking die, you just let me know so that we're not confused for weeks on end. Just go ahead and give us a little heads up. You know what I'm saying? Don't just up and fucking bail on us. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, we're gonna go ahead and kick it on over to my guy Jocko, and let's go ahead and get in the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Man, Sleepy, I appreciate the shout out or the follow over on Rumble. That's awesome. Rumble lets me know when you guys follow me, so that's awesome. Thank you, Sleepy. I appreciate it. The new fan base growing, man. I like you guys. Big shout out to Brandy doing the heavy lifting. At a certain point, Brandy, you gotta take a recovery day. I don't know how your delts and your quads are handling all of these the shouldering the load and carrying the water here for the Hat and Beard show. But sister, yeah, I mean, make sure you get the macros in, girl, because you are crushing it over here. I really, really do appreciate it. Lavonte David, you guys, in case you didn't know, unless it's not some of you, I mean, I don't blame you. It's the off season. Some of us like to go Patrick Star mode. Some of us like to live under a rock. Some of us, though, look, I always like Lavonte David. I ain't got none. I don't know the guy personally. It's not like I'm like, hey, Lavonte. I'm not like, he's not in the group chat with me and the boys. But I respect the body of work, right? At a certain point. I never had anything against Lavonte David. But when I was younger, growing up, oh, man. I did not like Peyton Manning. I did not like Tom Brady. For the longest time, I didn't like Patrick Mahomes. I'm still not the biggest Patrick Mahomes fan simply because every time I hear the word or the name Patrick Mahomes, I hear Chris Collinsworth, Patrick Mahomes. Nobody does anything better than Patrick Mahomes. So that is one thing. I am getting over the Patrick Mahomes thing as I have and you'll hear me talk about it all the time. This is the year that I am very interested to see how the NFL narrative machine works. You're going to see a clash. Who is the NFL's new golden boy? Are they going to continue to lean on Patrick Mahomes? Or will the NFL act the way that they were acting last year, especially really heavy-duty and heavy, like really hardcore after Mahomes' knee went out? Are they going to continue to anoint Giggle Williams as the next face of the next golden boy, the chosen one by the powers that be in the NFL? It will be interesting to see if the NFL continues to anoint one, or if they take the rights and privileges that they have unjustly granted to small PP Benedict Arnold, Osama Ben Johnson, and his little boy squire, his manservant, his not going to use the words that I want to use, at least right now, because we're still a couple minutes too early into the show. Giggle Willie. Or will Patrick Mahomes now be treated like Josh Allen, like sometimes like Matt Stafford, like everybody else? Will he just be a generic top-end quarterback, not a anointed holier-than-thou one? It will be interesting to see. But my point being is that certain players I don't like. It generally has nothing to do with the individual, right? I don't like the treatment of Patrick Mahomes. I couldn't stand the glazing of Tom Brady simply because I just was ignorant to the actual statistics around what he was doing and how he was doing it. I couldn't stand Peyton Manning because I play a lot of Madden, and Madden decided that they were going to make Peyton Manning as realistic as they could, in that pre-snap audibles drove. I hated playing the Colts because the game was going to be 45 minutes longer than it needed to be, while Peyton Manning digitally audibled for 1 million times, and I couldn't stand it. By the end of his career, I really respected the body of work that Peyton Manning did. By the end of his career, I was rooting for Tom Brady to win a Super Bowl with Tampa, ironically, just to show that he had worked his way out from underneath the shadow of Bill Belichick and to really put his flag and say, hey, actually, it was me. It wasn't Bill. It was me. It was always me. It was me doing it, which is why when you've seen the drop-off once Tom left New England, you've seen the drop-off, and then you've seen Tom do it in Tampa. It just proved to me that Tom was the one doing it the whole time. All right, and I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan. I cannot sit here and tell you in good faith that Bill Belichick was the lead contributing factor. No, it was Tom. It was always Tom. It had always been Tom. So by attrition, these guys eventually end up winning me over. Lavonte David, I end up respecting the body of work. 14 years, 1,700 tackles. You know, I'm no biologist, but I can tell you that's more than 100 tackles per year on average. That's pretty dang good. I don't even have to take my socks and shoes off to count that high. I can just tell you that based on just looking at it. Look at me. Look at me, huh? We're geniuses. After a staggering 1,700 tackles and 215 games, all as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Lavonte David is calling it a career. The 36-year-old, a one-time Super Bowl winner, All-Pro, and Pro Bowl linebacker, announces retirement Tuesday after 14 seasons in the NFL. Quote, 14 years of playing football. To come to this moment, I never thought I'd be in this situation. I never thought I'd be here. Growing up, playing the game of football at 6 years old, I always did it for the fun of it. Did it for the love of it. Never cared about what came with it just because it was built in me a different way. My 14-year career has come to an end. I feel it's time to move on and find a different path. At the end of the day, I'll always be a Buccaneer. As always, it's Bucs for life. David started all 215 games he played in for the Bucs since he was selected in the second round of the 2012 draft. Damn! Just how long David would keep playing has long been an offseason quandary. In the spring of 2025, he inked his third straight one-year deal with Tampa Bay. That is impressive. Oh, damn it, clickety clacking. I'm too click clacking. We can get it clacking if you're clicking clacking. Look at Mr. Jackson. David starting 215 games. He started all 215 games in his career. Dude. That is Hall of Fame worthy in and of itself, right? Holy crap, dude. To start every game you played in for the Bucs, you started. Damn, dude. This time around, David won't be signing another one-year pact. Instead, he'll bid adieu to a career that boasts 12 100-tackle seasons, a franchise record 33 forced fumbles, another club best of 21 defensive recoveries, 14 interceptions, and, a admirable 42.5 sacks. You got to give the club best 21 defensive recoveries. That's pretty good when you think of the Super Bowl year that Tampa had way back when with Derek Barnes, who was like a turnover machine, right? Remember them days? Derek Barnes, Rondé Barber, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice. Y'all remember Simeon Rice? Lavonte's mark on our franchise could never be overstated. GM John Litch said, for the entirety of his 14-year career, Lavonte set the standard for professionalism, leadership, and consistency. He embodies everything that it meant to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and he is undoubtedly one of the best players to ever put on this uniform. His contributions to our franchise, to his teammates, and to this community will leave an impact far beyond his playing years. While David was very much a tackling machine as an inside linebacker, he also was a player for every down. He was an All-Pro in 2020 or 2013, his second season, sporting sensational statistics that filled up the box score. 145 tackles, 7 sacks, 10 passes defended, and 2 forced fumbles. His only Pro Bowl selection followed in 2015 when he posted a career high, just a cool 147 tackles. Much of David's career was spent on struggling Bucs teams. The franchise, of course, changed its trajectory when Thomas Brady arrived in the 2020 season. David received second-team All-Pro recognition as the Bucs marched to a win in the Super Bowl. David had 6 tackles and 2 pass breakups in Tampa's 31-9 triumph over the Kansas City Chiefs. That's, not a bad career, dude. Not a bad career. I gotta ask, and this is purely out of ignorance, as I am not as familiar with what it. Because I was a young man and a young child, a teenager growing up in the era of the Ray Lewises and the Brian Urlachers and the Zach Thomases, Junior Seau, it's kind of like duh as far as the Hall of Fame nomination and inductees are concerned. It's just kind of like, well, duh. But I guess I am not necessarily familiar with what benchmarks and or accolades linebackers need to be enshrined in Canton, right? Obviously, Chris Spielman is the best linebacker. I love it. I love it, Sleepy. I love it. You made a rumble and kick. Hell yeah, thank you, Sleepy. I appreciate that. Thank you. Also, I love the usage of the word bud. Very few people use that term. I've been using it since the mid-2010s when I was first introduced to Trailer Park Boys. But I absolutely love the fact that you use the terminology bud. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. What's up, American Boxer? Good morning, bro. What's good? I guess then, so what kind of statistics, accolades, benchmarks does a linebacker need to get into Canton? Now, if we're just going off of baseline metrics, Super Bowl ring, check. All-Pro, albeit second team, twice, check. Pro Bowl, check for whatever that's worth. A second-round draft pick, so you did overcome not being a first-round choice. So the narrative, you did have a little bit more of a hero's journey, right? So check. Can you tell the story of the NFL without mentioning a second-round draft pick linebacker who started all 215 games that he ever suited up for, and in 14 seasons amassed over 1,700 tackles? I would have to say yes. Am I wrong? I might have a known lion on your podcast on Friday. American Boxer, please let us know, dude. That is dope. Bustin' with the boys ran through David's numbers. He's got that one only player better as Ray Lewis. Well, then there you go. Snake. There you go, dude. That's I guess then that answers that. Let me look at something real quick. Let's go ahead and get out Google Box away. Google Box. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me, bro? All right, so he was drafted. Come on, I just seen the number. Now it's like I'm looking for the son of a bitch. Okay. So, Snake. Shout out Snake, my guy. A week or two ago, Bussin' with the boys ran through David's numbers. He's got some that the only player better is Ray Lewis. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and solidify the Hall of Fame argument for Lavonte David. by that metric in my head, right? The only player that has him beat on numbers is Ray Lewis. Okay, Ray Lewis is a Hall of Fame NFL linebacker. Duh. Ray Lewis retired in 2012. Lavonte David came into the NFL in 2012. Although they are not the same player as far as entertainment value on the field, if the only player to have better numbers than you at your position is the player who retired the same year that you were drafted, does that not then lean farther into the argument that you should be enshrined into Canton? Am I making too much of it? Oh, Dancing Bananas in the chat over on Rumble. That's awesome. Let's go Dancing Bananas in the chat. Let's go Dancing Bananas in the chat. Fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome. So am I off base with that comparison then? Is that a fair assessment? Because the more I think of it, the only real argument that I can say Lavonte David, you look at the numbers, you look at the accolades, the only thing that I can say that Lavonte David has going against him from being enshrined in Canton is that the layman doesn't know who Lavonte David is. Yeah, we know ball. Mad Hatter Nation knows ball, so we know who Lavonte David is. But, do most just now it's hard to say because like some people are very ignorant to the NFL. So I don't want to say, the bloke down at the gas station, does he know who Lavonte David is? Because even to this day, I still have people going, well, I'll start watching the NFL when the Lions are good. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? We are good. We've been good for the last half decade. What the fuck are you on, bro? You know what I'm saying? No one will probably agree with me, but top 3 Lions will be Barry Sanders, Herman Moore, and Robert Porcher. Okay, Sleepy. I don't agree with you, but I do like those. I like everyone you listed. When you get into top 3 Lions, you start running into biases, right? Like, I would, okay, so where people would argue with me and dispute with me is that I don't think Barry Sanders is the best Lion. He's not my favorite Lion, and I don't think he's the best player to ever play for Detroit. I really don't. I think that when you look at it, Calvin Johnson is the best wide receiver to ever play in the NFL, pound for pound. Like, if you look at what Calvin was able to do with inferior talent and having all eyes on me, he still put up borderline GOAT numbers. And then he called his career short, just like Barry. But that's my personal bias. You know what I mean? That's because I watched Calvin more than I watched Barry at an age that I could consume and absorb the content at a deeper understanding than I could when I was a young child watching Barry Sanders. You know what I'm saying? I love Herman Moore, right? I think he's awesome, and what he did was magnificent, but his skill set doesn't match up to Calvin Johnson. I will always hold Calvin Johnson into such a obnoxiously high threshold, S tier on everything, because of the age I was when he came into the NFL, because that's when, the NFL Network really leaned into the draft coverage. That's when I started really getting into the draft, so I was really able to focus in and hone in on this one particular player that I became fascinated with his athletic skill set. You know what I'm saying? And then he came to the Lions, so that was just, I have this just like a weird bias-y towards Calvin Johnson. You know what I'm saying? So that's where like I would argue with you, but I don't, thank you. I appreciate you seeing my point, dude. And I'm not trying to like flip your opinion or nothing. I love the Robert Porcher thing. I love the Robert Porcher idea because I was a big Robert Porcher fan as a kid, right? But, now moving forward, I would put Hutch over Porcher, because again, I can see the narrative around it. I've been trying to figure out, and I don't know how because, I'm not like a filmmaker, but I really have been I've been kicking it around for years now. And every time the draft comes around, I'm always like, I should do this. And then I start to think like I could probably ram it together, but it wouldn't be up to the standard that I want. I've really thought about making like a small, like short style, just standalone VOD kind of documentary on, the importance and the magnitude of what football means to young men, specifically in the state of Michigan, and then showing the magnitude of like what Aiden Hutchinson means to Detroit and how like at a very small level, he is living out the dream of a small percentage of Detroit Lions fans. These like me, I grew up playing football. I grew up as a Lions fan. I've been a Lions fan my whole life. Like, my dream was to be that kid who, like, not only is he the guy, he grew up locally, Michigan kid, born and raised here, but then was one of the major cogs in the turnaround of the franchise, and he went to the University of Michigan. I'm not a Michigan fan, but like a local school. This story of Aiden Hutchinson is so like poetic, you know what I'm saying, and how it like touches. But at the same time, I can also show how there is. You guys do realize that there was a prince before Aiden Hutchinson, right? There was a guy who did all of that except for the turnaround, right? So for every Aiden Hutchinson, there was another guy, and he's dead now, right? There was a guy who played ball locally, who grew up locally, who played ball in East Lansing. He was drafted by the Lions in the first round. You guys remember Charles Rogers? See how close he came? Do you see like how unbelievably small of a percentage it is to hit all of those metrics to tell that story? And how even then when you hit all of those metrics, there is even still an even smaller percentage that you'll be that guy, right? And then think of all of the time that went by between Charles Rogers and Aiden Hutchinson, how to hit all of those benchmarks, how small of a window that is, and the magnitude of what it means and what it, like, dude, could you imagine? I literally, as a kid, used to dream about being what Aiden Hutchinson is to the Lions. Michigan kid, born and raised, went to a local college, first round draft pick of the Lions, and he's on defense. That's even more badass. You know what I'm saying? Almost won a Heisman on defense. Are you shitting me? Comes to the Lions. I cannot sit here and tell you in good faith that Aiden Hutchinson is the most important draft pick by Brad Holmes in terms of rebuilding the organization, because far and away, Penei Sewell is a better player than Aiden Hutchinson. Far and away. Penei Sewell is the best offensive lineman in football. Aiden Hutchinson is one of the best defensive linemen in football. That aside, Aiden Hutchinson is living the dream of every little boy in Michigan playing grade school football going, I'm going to be a first-round pick of the Detroit Lions. You know what I'm saying? Bro. Do the documentary? Hell yeah, dude. Well, thank you, man, Sleepy. I appreciate that, dude. I'd actually kind of thought about, like, so because of the place that I work, well, not this year because they stopped doing it at our facility, but I actually bumped into a couple of my old high school football coaches a few years back. And, like, I thought about maybe going as far as to, like, interviewing them and, like, getting, like, because, dude, I really think that, like, I'm going to get all fucking emotional thinking about this, dude. Like, what football means to young men, specifically high school football, and, like, how much it means to people growing up. I don't think that that is, like, portrayed or captured enough in major media, which is why I think we've seen a little bit of a feminization around football, because they don't understand. Like, I realize that I just sound like a caveman, just like, they don't understand, but it's, like, really hard to explain, like, what it means, the camaraderie, the motivation, the, like, getting your fucking dick knocked in the dirt. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's just weird. I don't know, man. Watch Charles Rogers in high school. Dude is special. Shame it didn't work out in the NFL. Yeah, dude, I know, man. I know. And that's like, I played for Southgate High School before I blew my leg out and never played again. No shit, dude. Damn, bro. That sucks, dude. That sucks. So you get it, dude. You get it, bro. Yeah, Charles Rogers, like, he was wild, dude. He was special, and he just couldn't, you know what I'm saying? One collarbone or another, you know, he just couldn't make it happen, dude. Couldn't make it happen, but it was so close, dude. So the odds, just the odds of hitting all of those benchmarks and then to succeed. Whew, you're talking, like, I don't know what is more impressive. finding someone to hit all those benchmarks or to actually then turn around, hit all those benchmarks, and then succeed. Like, you're talking about such a small percentage of a population to pull from, you know? Like, it's just just what is simp and salad potato, brother? I don't know what Azteco. I think that's the second time you dropped that in the chat yesterday. I don't know what that means, man. I think I do you mean Elez taco? Do you mean Elez taco? Because I didn't realize that it was spelled ELZLELS taco. I don't know, man. I don't speak French, bro. I don't know how to speak French. So let's talk about Kerby Joseph's knee, guys. There's no way we're going to be able to watch the microphone video. We are running way over on time. Where did the noise about Kerby Joseph's knee come from, right? Look, we've talked about this a lot, but the whole thing got way blown out of proportion by humans doing the very thing humans think, human thing of going to the worst possible scenario they could find. In this case, it's that Kerby Joseph's knee injury, which kept him out of most of the season, is a career-altering one. They never reported what Joseph's actual injury is, and not once did they say it was career-altering. Joseph never said it was career-altering. The very fact that the Lions refused to move him to IR showed that it was something they felt he couldn't come back from in 2025. But the internet doctors of the world decided that they knew what the injury was without treating the player or even knowing what the actual diagnosis was, and proclaimed that it was career-altering injury with one side of their mouths while saying that they don't have all the information with the other side of their mouths. Fans, unfortunately, believed all of it. At the end of the day, the only outside report we've seen is that it's not career-altering. But obviously, only time will tell. That's simply due to the fact that, yes, lingering issues could affect his play down the road. At the same time, Joseph's knee could turn out to be just fine. We won't know until we know. We don't know, but we know. You know? Look, guys. Kerby Joseph came to me in a dream. Okay? And he told me, Hat, I am a time traveler. And my knee is just fine. So we don't know, but we know. I'll never stop stopping making fun of Candace Owens. You know? What the Lions just did shows that they see Kerby Joseph involved in their foreseeable future. Last week, you guys, on Friday, the third day of the new league year, the Lions guaranteed $8.74 million of Kerby Joseph's 2027 salary. Now it's fair to mention that $13 million of Joseph's salary was already injury guaranteed, but not fully guaranteed. What does that mean? If he had gotten cut and passed a physical, he wouldn't have received that money. If he hadn't passed the physical due to an injury, he would get the money. Because he's injured, the Lions couldn't cut him without paying those guarantees anyway. Now, it's all fully guaranteed, regardless of the situation. That is a big deal, and another key trigger occurred on Friday when the Lions guaranteed Joseph his $9.62 million option bonus for the 2026 season. These are big amounts of guaranteed money that the Lions are giving to Joseph, and it has to make you feel good that they're doing it. They could have very well declined that bonus, and they didn't. That shows that they plan to have him around, and that maybe there is some confidence in his recovery. The Lions aren't the only ones being confident about it, right? Joseph is calling his shot and telling the world that he'll be back on the field and that he will have a better season than his 24 season and can win Comeback Player of the Year. Oh yeah, let's hope the dude. No, I don't know. I might. I'm trying not to gamble so much, boys and girls. Trying to not gamble so much. It's not that it's like financially impacting me. It's just, it's just not good. It's just not the wisest. If you can do it, that's fine. You guys know that I always, add that caveat whenever we're placing our bets on the Sunday pregame shows. But just give that money to your church, man. You know what I'm saying? Just give that money to your church, dude. Just give that money to your church. But if I were to put some dollary dues on comeback player of the year next year, I would say that Kerby Joseph would have a better than not chance of winning it, and winning it soundly, simply because since coming into the league, nobody has more takeaways than Kerby Joseph. He is on par with Ed Reed, a Hall of Fame caliber safety, and he has been a turnover machine. I have said time and time again that Kerby Joseph is actually the main reason why the Lions weren't perceived as good last year, both offensively and defensively. Our offense didn't reflect the numbers that we had the year before because Kerby Joseph wasn't back there making up for the mistakes and getting a bunch of turnovers and takeaways for our secondary. Subsequently, our defense looked even worse than it was last year because of that very same reason. Kerby Joseph wasn't in the secondary making up for everybody's deficiencies and getting a bunch of takeaways. We didn't have as many possessions, which led to fewer yardage and offensive production. Yes, you can say that Graham Glasgow played a lot worse than Frank Ragnow. I completely agree with you there. And Taylor Decker, well, he's a bag of potatoes. But our offense only gave up, I think, 9 more sacks than they did the year prior and 13 more pressures. The offensive line wasn't as bad as everyone's making it out to be. We just didn't have as many turnovers and takeaways on defense to overinflate our offensive production. I do think that when Kerby Joseph returns next year and puts that big old S on his chest that has been left in the locker room since Alex Anelzone broke his arm a year and a half ago, I think Kerby Joseph is going to not only win comeback player of the year, but be in contention for defensive player of the year and subsequently NFL MVP as he hits double-digit takeaways, 9 interceptions, and 2 to 3 fumble recoveries on his way to over 100 tackles. And go ahead and give him 3 sacks on the season. Why not? Calvin Shepard gets absolutely bananas with it. And while we're on it, Jahmyr Gibbs rushes for over 2,000 yards, 20 touchdowns. Jared Goff throws for 5,050 touchdowns. Penei Sewell doesn't let up a single pressure or sack as he makes his transition to the left side. Wait, what? Why am I saying that? What am I talking about? We're going to skip that story, talk right about Penei Sewell. Brad Holmes may have just inadvertently spoiled what position Penei will play and who will start opposite him. What do you mean, Hat? Well, guys, did we not see this coming? Have we not been talking about this for weeks on end? What's up, Kerry? How you doing, brother? Good to... Oh, yo, it's Mr. Detroit City. What's good, brother? I was hoping you were good, man. I know you're busy, dude. I know you're a busy guy, dude. I know you're busy. I love that CO impersonation. CO. I don't follow, dude. My bad. I'm not Catholic. Oh, Candace Owens, gotcha. You know. Well, so, Sleepy, the reason that I can do the Candace impersonation so well is I used to listen to a lot of Candace Owens. Full disclosure, I used to listen to Candace Owens like every day. And then she just went bananas. Not only did she go bananas and start Erica Kirk posting, she is driving a massive wedge in the MAGA movement. She is trying to divert people away from focusing on the task at hand. She's running the good names of people through the mud, both Erica Kirk and the final straw for me, which I was like, you are fucking nuts, dude. The time travel thing, all this shit, I was like, okay, she's kind of nuts. Yo, when she went after Tim Pool, I was like, okay, bitch, you are crazy. You are lying. I know exactly the story she's talking about, and that's a fucking lie. That is a flat-out fucking lie. So she is, by all metrics, I would say that at this point, Candace Owens is a vile, evil bitch who needs to be removed from the internet. I don't understand why she is allowed to say the things that she's allowed to say, but guys like Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes, who have been saying the exact same thing as Candace Owens has been saying for years, are depersoned, are deplatformed, are forced to build alternative platforms, are bankrupted more than the GDP of some countries. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why Candace Owens is allowed to do this where others are not. I mean, I know exactly why, but we're not allowed to say that on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Catholic. Where was it? I'm no Catholic Candace saying she's only a journey. She lets her play out. She'll find Jesus one day. You know, and that's all you can hope is that eventually she'll figure it out. But she's a charlatan, dude. What's up, Brent Supreme? How you doing, man? Goddamn hippies took your pen. Goddamn hippies. No, goddamn dirty fucking hippies. I watch all the episodes just making some money. Hell yeah, dude. I know how it goes, bro. I know, dude. I just, I can't have you going over and pulling just up and bailing on us like some people have done, Missing branch hurts. Missing both is too much to overcome, which we saw at the end of the season. 100%, Snake. 100%, dude. 100%. I'm not saying trust Candace, but I trust Erica Kirk less. Just saying. Oh, yeah. No, well, dude, yeah, Brent. So here's the thing, dude. I will give Candace some credit. She has shown some information about Erica Kirk that I'm like, oh, yeah, she's just a cunt too. You know what I'm saying? But maybe they could have waited for Charlie's body to get a little bit colder before they started doing. I mean, you guys realize that we are like barely 6 months out of Charlie Kirk getting his fucking neck blown out, and they've already just been running like the crabs in a bucket mentality, the power vacuum, the obvious grifters really shown themselves. They were showing themselves before Charlie's body even hit the fucking stage floor, dude. Like it's really gross. It's really gross to see just the way people are trying to leverage what he built and stand on his shoulders while proclaiming that they all knew him better than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? You would like to think that his wife knew him better than anybody else. But I can't sit here and tell you that she's an out and out saint when Erica Kirk, does kind of give off OF to born again Christian vibes. You know what I'm saying? Kind of found herself a little wet behind the ears, little howdy doody kind of too nice for his own good, maybe kind of has seen. Now, I'm not saying she's a terrible person. I'm just saying that some of her actions before marrying Charlie, it's like, I get it. And we do have to give grace. Everybody was young. But I can see where, watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. You know what I'm saying? She's a little bit of a Hellcat. You know what I'm saying, dude? I cried harder than Erica Kirk did, and I never met Charlie. I helped red pill me. Do I always thank him for that? Yeah, Brent, shout out, dude. I actually I sat here on live and cried that very next day because I said some pretty mean things about Charlie Kirk just that morning, the morning prior. The morning that Charlie Kirk died, September 10th, I sat here and said some pretty fucking mean things about him, dude. Some pretty awful fucking things. Can't take that back. We've already been down that road before. But yeah, I sat here and cried like a little bitch, dude. And then I started going to church. How's this, dude? Since Charlie Kirk died, I've only not gone to church I've only missed church one time. That Sunday I sat in church and cried like a little bitch, dude. And, sometimes, like right now, I'm getting kind of like a little choked up, because like one of the main reasons that I was like, all right, I'm going to fucking church was, one, it scared the shit out of me. And two, it's like, well, somebody has to. Charlie can't anymore. You know what I'm saying? So Erica was the country love of that marriage. Was the Courtney love? Yes. Yeah. Sleepy. Actually, that's a really good way of putting it, dude. Erica was working well. Yeah, dude. Mr. Detroit City. Yeah, dude. Yes, dude. For sure. Huff talk about scripture than keeping with the Kardashians, which is Candace and Erica. Yeah, dude. And that's just it. You're seeing some of me starts to think that maybe look, guys, I'm not trying to say that they're putting frickin' chemicals in the water supply to make the frickin' frogs gay. But what I am saying is that maybe Erica and Candace seen how much money was there to be made, and maybe there's a little bit of collusion going on there, right? The globalists trying to trying to take over free speech and free-thinking Americans. Courtney Love did kill her nerd. Yeah, dude. Dude, that's just it, bro. I actually like that Courtney Love comparison. That's pretty good, dude. That's pretty good. All right, boys and girls, we got 10 minutes here. Let's go ahead and, if you can, do me a solid, guys. As we approach Detroit, Fort Wayne, if you could please make sure that your tray seats are fastened and your seatbelts are strapped in tight. Just so you know, here on Mad Hatter Airlines, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, so smoke them if you got them. We're going to try and land this plane. Talking about Penei Sewell. Lions' biggest thing they needed to work on this offseason is the offensive line. I would disagree. It is defense. They need to get that thing back to the dominant group it once was. They have their new center with Cade Mays. Hey! Gonna go ahead and give myself a little POB, a little pat on the back. Called that one. Hat Stradamus over here, you guys. Yo. I should get like a big floppy wizard hat and put that on when I be making my predictions. Jack Campbell being an all-pro. Cade Mays coming to the Detroit Lions. Oh, calling the Tater Ratledge pick last year, you guys? Are you serious? Just give me the tea leaves. I'll sit here. I'm better than Skip Bayless at this shit, dude. Skip Bayless. What a random fucking name to pull out, dude. There are still some questions at tackle. What are the Lions going to do there? The expectation is that they're going to draft their next starting left tackle. But after listening to Big Braid Brad talk to the Lions Collective on Tuesday, that doesn't necessarily look like it's happening for sure. For sure. Holmes certainly talked about Larry Borum as a guy who the Lions believe can start for them. Holmes talked about Borum a lot on Tuesday and had some very good things to say about him. Quiggity quote, had a lot of exposure to him playing a lot of different spots, but seeing what he did at Miami, especially at right tackle, and then when you start looking at the film, like this is probably about the most consistent ball I've seen him play. And then you start taking a deeper dive of him at right tackle, even in the past, and you start seeing his level of consistency versus the guard spots or at left tackle spots. Not saying he can't play with those spots too, because he can, but that's what we kept him there for us. Borum actually had the best season of his career with the Dolphins, and down the stretch, he looked really good at right tackle. Like starter worthy. From week 5 to 18, #Lions offensive tackle Larry Borum posted an 82.1 PFF pass blocking grade. That was fifth amongst all offensive tackles over that stretch with a minimum of 200 pass blocking snaps. Per PFF, he allowed just 5 pressures and 0 sacks over that stretch of 8 starts. It's pretty impressive. That is impressive. Nice. But if you really focus on what Holmes is saying, he's talking about right tackle a lot. But wait, there's more. Isn't that where Penei Sewell plays? The Penei Sewell move to left tackle looks like it's a real thing now. To be clear, Holmes did not outright say that Sewell was moving to left tackle, but he did say that Sewell's ability to play on the left and right side made it easier for the Lions to just go find a tackle they like. That's kind of what I was saying. I knew it was going to be up to what Penei wants to do, but by every account that I can formulate around Penei Sewell, Penei's going to go, what do you want me to do? They're going to go, what do you want to do? And we're going to end up in this weird stalemate between Penei Sewell and management of them just going, well, what do you want to do? And he's going, well, what do you want me to do? And what do you want for dinner? What do you want for dinner? You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, we're getting barbecue. I think it's the beauty of having a player like him is that you always have the flexibility of the possibility of him playing left tackle. He's done it before. It's not anything foreign to him. So even as we're going through free agency, we weren't really pigeonholed. Like, got to get a left tackle. We got to get a right. We're like, what's the best tackle for us? And then we'll just kind of adjust as needed. There you go. The Lions know full well what they have, and there is a big possibility that he's moving to left tackle and Borum starts at right tackle in 2026. Honestly, I kind of hope not. I can handle the idea of Larry Borum being a bridge player to the next, young, flashy thing, be it Monroe Freeling, be it Caleb Lomu, be it Spencer Fano, hell, be it Max Finkel as Einhorn. You know what I'm saying? Be it Miles Frazier. What can this mean for the 2026 NFL Draft? That does not mean anything is set in stone. We're just talking here, people. Good, I'm glad we're not talking here, animals. The Lions can still spend the 17th pick on a tackle, and that guy can start right away, Monroe Freeling. But if the Lions are indeed confident in Borum at right tackle, this does lessen the urgency a bit and allows the Lions to do what they're probably going to do anyway and go with the best player available. That's kind of what I'm like. It's very hard for me to tell you who we're going to take at 17, especially because now we do know that rumor has it that most teams aren't looking to trade up this year. Most teams are looking to trade back, but of course it takes two to tango. This draft, the mocks I've seen are so goofy through the top 1 through 10 that it's generally the same guys, but depending on where they go, kind of dictates how everything shakes out 10 through 20, right? And that 10 through 17, let me ask you this. If you're the Lions and you're sitting there at 17, and you can't find a dancing partner, so we're locked into 17. Chat. Sound off in the chat. Legion of whom? Hell yeah. Borum playing means Bridgewater playing. Oh! You ain't wrong, though, dude. You ain't wrong. I'm not that confident in Borum, dude. I'm right there with you. If you're the Lions, you're locked in at 17. You can't find a dancing partner, and you're staring at a draft board that has Mansour Delaney, or Delane, I don't know how it's pronounced, Sonny Styles, Spencer Fano, and Keldrick Folk. You can't find a dancing partner. You're locked in at 17. Who are you going to take? Obviously, the odds of all four of those guys falling to 17 is, well, I can shit in one hand and wish in the other. But this is a grandma wagon conversation, right? Let's go ahead and have this thought exercise. All right, put on your thinking caps, not your drinking caps, boys and girls. Sonny Styles. I know. Brent Supreme, I know, dude. I know that this ain't happening. If we went D-end and linebacker in the first two rounds, obviously went O-line, but what if? Sonny, because he's a league soapbox character also. Right on. So, all right. Let me just, Brent Supreme. You're saying linebacker, possibly linebacker in the first or second round. I'm not comfortable taking a linebacker in the second round simply because of if we're taking a linebacker in the second round, that means that we probably went offensive or defensive line in the first round. There's not a lot after the second and third round of those positions for us to really clamor after. It doesn't appear that linebacker is a desperate position that we're trying to fill. I think that there's a lot of confidence in bodies that we have in-house, especially with the re-signing of Malcolm Rodriguez. And I do think the Lions are going to be looked to hybridize their defense and get out of base defense more and more. That being said, if Sonny Styles is sitting there at 17, even with Fano, even with Folk, even with Delane, I cannot pass up Sonny Styles because he is not just a linebacker. He is a converted safety to linebacker, which gives us a hybridized position, gives us maximum skill set at one position with blended skill set into another. It allows him to flex out as a hybrid linebacker, secondary player. It gives us more flexibility, more tools in the toolbox, and is arguably the best player available in the draft outside of or with all of those players. I actually think that Sonny Styles, pound for pound, all skills aside, or all skills looked at, I think Sonny Styles is probably the number one prospect in this draft. I haven't done tremendous amount of eyeball checking on Arvel Reese. I just think that I'm really high on Sonny Styles, guys. I'm really, really high on him. So if we're looking at this very unicorn situation of these players, Delane, Styles, Fano, Falk, all fall into 17, you're locked into 17, you have to take Sonny Styles. Though, obviously you're not going linebacker the rest of the draft, you then are bottled into, I have to take a defensive end or a tackle in the second round because there isn't shit afterwards. There isn't shit afterwards. I mean, yes, there are guys, but as far as highly coveted prospects, there isn't a whole hell of a lot. You know what I'm saying? How do we feel about that, chat? Am I off base? Styles is a dog. 29 days until the draft. Hell yeah, dude. He's a legendary soapbox character. Hell yeah, dude. If Styles are at 17, something is wrong we don't know about. Damn, Mom! Dropping truth bombs. It is just that linebacker has top 5 graded players. You'll get a phenomena at 50. That's fair, dude. That's fair. Tackle first round. Keep Brad upright. Has to be a priority. Yes. Legion, my guy. I am very much... I'm very in love with the skill set of Sonny Styles, okay? I don't want you to get that twisted. I love what Mansour Delane brings, and I think that he would bring a tremendous amount of competition to the secondary room, right? If it were me and I'm sitting in Brad Holmes' seat, I'm taking a tackle or a defensive end in the first round, and then I'm taking whichever I didn't in the second round, more than likely. You know what I'm saying? I just think that especially, like, I've really become fascinated with Monroe Freeling, dude. I've really become fascinated with him. I still like Spencer Fano. I do like Caleb Lomu. The more, though, that I watch kind of how everything shakes out, I'm trying to temper my expectations around Monroe Freeling. I think he's going to be gone by 17. I do think he's going to be a surprise top 10 pick. Okay. I think, though, that if the Lions are really smart, we wish and hope that Keldrick Folk falls to 17. Okay, I don't want Fat Braylon Edwards. I'm sorry. It's nothing against the guy individually. It's the age. It's the hurt foot. It's the fact that he looks like Fat Braylon Edwards. Okay, Akeem Mesidor or Mesidor, whatever his name is. I like Keldrick Folk in the first round. Okay, that's where I'm at. That's who I really want at 17. That answers a lot of questions for our defense is Keldrick Folk. He does everything that we need out of that bookend opposite Aiden Hutchinson, right? And we'll have him for up to 5 years just on his rookie scale contract. I think he can flourish. I think that the narrative around him, I've watched him dominate SEC players on his highlight tape. I don't understand where people are like, he gets lost in the sauce, dude. He owned fucking Caden Proctor a couple of times, dude. And Caden Proctor's, Caden Proctor, you know what I'm saying? If you go Keldrick Folk in the first round, I am really then hoping that Max Finkel-Einhorn falls to us in the second round. If not, then you start to look, then it gets a little choppy. Then you start to go, okay, then you start to have the conversation around Gunter Dunker, Jennings Dunker. You know what I'm saying? Then you have to start having a conversation around if the tackles are all cleared out, then you're locked into Borum. You really hope he's your guy. Maybe Frazier can pull it out. And then you look at the secondary rooms. You start to go, okay, hey, now we go defense first round, defense second round. Maybe it's Jamie Rodriguez or whatever, Jacob Rodriguez. Maybe it's the corner out of San Diego State. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that is still up in the air, and there's a lot of variables that'll happen between now and the draft. And then there's even more variables that'll happen on draft night. You know what I'm saying? We'll just sign left guard Ben Barch right on Spencer Fano any way you can get him. Hat, turn me on to him, and I'm sticking with that pick in the first round. Think Brad can pull it off. Yeah, dude. And, I don't have anything against Spencer Fano. I am just, like, right now really, really high on Monroe Freeling. Really high on him. It's just he's the flavor of the week for me right now, But I put him on the thumbnail a couple of times, guys. I love Spencer Fano. I do think he is, very Penny Sulian. I think he would be a perfect addition to our offensive line, and you would have the Samoan wave in front of Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? Be rock solid. Isaiah Trotter, Hill, or Rodriguez are likely to be BPA 50. Yeah, dude, Hill. Man, I'm gonna be honest. Brent Supreme. I think Hill is gonna shoot up in the first round. I think Dallas is gonna grab him at the back end of the first round. I really do, man. I think that Anthony Hill is going to shoot up the boards, dude. Rodriguez wouldn't be bad either, though. I would still take Moore or another edge. Yeah, dude, and it kind of depends on how we go in the first round, you know. Akeem Mezdor is far superior immediate help as a pass rusher, but he's a player you do not give a second contract to. You see, Brent Supreme, you're seeing Fat Braylon Edwards trap, dude. I don't want to say, I'm trying to think of a term like Thucydides trap. We'll call it hurt foot trap. He's a one contract guy, because by the time his second contract will come around, he'll be, looking at retirement because he's 100 years old. Oh man. All right, guys. So you kind of get the gist of the article. This is one paragraph left. We pretty much discussed it all. Some food for thought, some things to chew over. Obviously, everything's subject to change between now and the draft, but I think we're starting to get a little bit more of a clearer picture. Jared Goff is going to feel comfortable with these Samoans than he is going to move to Hawaii when he retires. That's awesome, dude. Fano is not like Penei Sewell at all. I do not see the comparison. Fano is athletic, yes, but nowhere near as thick in the ass. That's true. Fano will never have Penei's money-making muscles in the pants. I will give you that. He doesn't have the same build, but it's the athleticism. Obviously, it's the Samoan shit. It's also that, the reason people say Penei Sewell slid to us was because his arms were too short. Fano's getting that same comp if his arms are too short to play tackle. I think his athleticism on the whole hits a lot of the metrics of when we like to pull Penei around and move Penei out in space. You can kind of see similar attributes. It's not a one-to-one comp, though, Brent. You're not wrong. It could be a little bit of, we're just Penei got a lot of comparisons to the previous Samoan player. Does that make sense? That could be a little bit of it, That could be a little bit of it. But no, he's not as heavy as Penei. Penei's got that big wide ass, dude. He's got like a defensive tackle's ass. You know what I'm saying? Big, strong base, dude. I do think Fano, though, can grow to be strong. I think he can put some muscle on and get a little bit bigger over the year or two before he hits his final form, I like Fano. And I like the fact that Fano is starting to slide because he is a talented player, and I would be totally content with him at 17. I am in the camp of, if for whatever reason Sonny Styles is at 17, that's my guy. But I am a Keldrick Folk in the first round guy right now, and I kind of have been on Keldrick Folk for the majority of the offseason. I know I get kind of hype around other players here or there, but I think on the whole we've been pretty much a Keldrick Folk guy here for the majority of the offseason. Sign Jason Momoa. Short arms is just an excuse. Yeah, dude, short arms is an excuse. That's why Hutch fell to us at 2, because his arms were too short, right? Short arms. And short arms ain't nothing got to do with the size of the motor inside. It's all about what's in here, It's all about that H-E-A-R-T, that heart, baby. Let's go. Gotcha. So Fano really has like stubby arms, like he's an amputee. Like they're worthless. When you're scared, any excuse will do. That's true, dude. That's true. That's 100% true. I don't know, man. I think Fano would be all right, but we'll see. We'll discuss all that and more tomorrow on the Hat and Beard Show. Guys, I appreciate it. That's going to be it for today. Thank you to everybody over on Rumble who bothered to, especially Sleepy Exotic. That's what's up, dude. Creating an account just to follow me, dude. That's super dope. I appreciate that, bro. All you guys over on Rumble, that's what's up. Have a good day. All you guys over on YouTube, appreciate it. Make sure you slap the like button on the way out the door, guys. Any of you cats down there on Kick, I see you, even though I don't see you. I know you're there. I'm with you in spirit. You know what I'm saying? Guys, he's under 33 inch. All right, that is pretty short. I'll give you that. That is kind of short. That's why people have been kind of pushing him at the guard, mocking him at the guard spot. All right, yeah, 33 is a little stubby, by all accounts. I'm just saying. I have Rumble, just don't like the interview. Yeah, Mr. Detroit City, it took me a while to be able to palette Rumble. But what I did was I switched my app to dark mode. that helped a lot with the green, because the green and the white is not aesthetically pleasing, dude. But switch your app to dark mode. It goes a long way. Initially measured at 32 1/8 inch. Okay, all right, that is. I'll say if you're talking 33 7/8, then that, we're talking not very much, but yeah, we're talking almost a full inch, dude. Yeah. Same with Twitch. I've got it, but YouTube is better. TBH. That's fair. I don't have Twitch, man. I don't have a Twitch. I got Kick, Rumble, and YouTube, guys. So have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day. Make sure you smash the like button on your way out the door. Hit the share. Copy a like on your clipboard. Tell everybody you know. Have a good rest of your day. Stay out of trouble. The sun's coming out. Oh, mid-Michigan's finally going to start to warm up. I can feel spring. Spring is in the air, and the moles in my yard just do not care. Asshole moles, dude. Assholes. I got something for them. Have a good rest of the day, guys. We'll catch you tomorrow. Until then, I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Bonga, bonga. Frig off.